As worrying as this case is not an exception. This is what most think tanks do now. You must have heard the term. Newspapers quote their studies, politicians wave their findings and reports in parliaments across the globe. In a different era, think tanks were meant for research. Domain experts discussed how to solve problems, how to make sense of trends. Today, they've become talking shops for networkers and lobbyists, vehicles of influence for vested interests. And this is especially true for the US, that is home to one-third of the world's think tanks. A think tank is a group of experts who come together to develop ideas, work on solutions, and advise on policy. Think tanks have influence, especially in America. Researchers from prestigious think tanks frequent the corridors of power in Washington. So what happens when a company or a government hires a think tank to push its agenda? This is the Brookings Institution. It is one of the most prestigious think tanks in the world. According to a report in the New York Times, this think tank received $400,000 from the Lenner Corporation. Brookings reciprocated by backing Lenner Corporation's mega redevelopment plan in San Francisco. The New York Times found that Brookings had similar agreements with several other firms. This includes JP Morgan Chase, that's America's largest bank, global investment firm KKR, tech giant Microsoft, and Japanese conglomerate Hitachi. In exchange of financial support, Brookings agreed to provide the companies what they call donation benefits. That's basically code word for setting up engagements between government officials and company executives. So why are wealthy individuals and corporations around the world pouring money into America's think tanks? Think tanks were supposed to be independent and away from political influence. The story is quite different now. Think tanks have the power to influence policy. They're no more just researchers and advisors. They're influencers. Influencers with a carefully cultivated relationship with prominent lawmakers. Take the case of George W. Bush. The then President of America is flanked by Condoleezza Rice, she was the National Security Advisor, and Dick Cheney, the Vice President, also Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld. All three of these individuals were appointed from Washington-based think tanks into the government. Corporates want to leverage these connections. American businessman Charles Koch is following a similar strategy. He has spent millions backing Republican candidates. Now he wants to influence American foreign policy. Reports say a foundation backed by him gave $460,000 to the Quincy Institute for Responsible Statecraft. This new think tank is looking for ways to end America's endless wars. And this is something that American President Donald Trump is quite bullish about. Since he took office in 2016, Trump has aggressively pushed for the pullout of American troops from Afghanistan and Iraq. While the Trump administration has largely ignored think tanks, their influence has not waned. America has the largest number of think tanks in the world, and they're not holding back their spending, thanks to their wealthy corporate donors. Bureau Report, Wion, World is One.